Why did you choose this life?
What life?
To be a great warrior.
I chose nothing. I was born, and this is what I am.
You don't have the guts to be what you want to be. You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So, what'll that make you? Good? You're not good. You just know how to hide, how to lie. Me, I don't have that problem. Me, I always tell the truth. Even when I lie. So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you. Come on. Make way for the bad guy.
When the ice finally breaks, we will go back to Wessex and claim the land that King Egbert promised us. You know that was always my dream. I feel my blood warming. I want to fight. I want to raid. Why do you want to fight? What are you fighting for? That. What do you see? Power. The power of a king. Power is always dangerous. It attracts the West and corrupts the best. I never asked for power. Power is only given to those who are prepared to lower themselves to pick it up.
Shalom. All praises, glory, honor, and fear. Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Barakah, Quadash, Ababa Ball to all the false anointeds, the many of you, and much love, increase, empowerment to Lord's true election, the true chosen ones in these last days. Now, I'm just, browsing, looking around. Lord said in Proverbs to know the estate of the sheep, what's going on, what's being said. Proverbs 27 verse 23 says, be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks and look well to thy herds. So what Yahawashi is doing in these last moments, and which he is doing through us, his servants, his ministers, his friends, he's separating and making a clear division between the goats and the sheep. And there's a lot more goats than there is sheep. So as it's written in Ezra's, we're not going to leave our people in the hands of cruel wolves, you see. 2 Ezra 5 and verse 17. Verse 18, the point. It says, up then, right, get up, raise up your mind, raise up your frequency and your heart. This is what the Lord meant when he said in John, he's going to raise us up in the last day. See, we're being raised above the weak nature and the the workers of darkness. Because all you see with these camps and all these Israelites is just full of fucking debate, always going back and forth, you know. And what you're seeing right now is prophecy being fulfilled and the love of many being waxed cold. So the main thing you need to do as a believer and the follower of the Lord is to make sure that your light, that your lamp, that your love, your fire doesn't go out. Because a lot of our people are they're going out, man. So the Lord said at that time, there's a prophecy, shall friends fight against each other like enemies. So it's a heavy spirit in these last days of just hate, you know, switching up, betrayal, you know, all this shit, man. And that's why the best thing for you, if you're a true believer, a true chosen of the Lord, is to really separate yourself and don't get mixed up. Don't get into the confusion of the world and of all these false prophets and all this backbiting and debating and back and forth and shit. Because the Lord said, beware and take heed lest the light your eye be turned darkness, for how great will that darkness be. You see, they know not what they're stumbling at. You see, 2 Ezra 6:24. At that time, this is the time right now, shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Right. So I'm gonna go into Amos 8:11 as well, because this is obviously the famine of the word. It doesn't matter if YouTube is still going or we're still doing lessons and videos. It is the famine of the word, because even guys that claim new covenant, there's no love there. It's not love. It's just the new wave now, and you got our people just riding that wave however the way they can, you know. So it's heavy, man. And that's the point. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. You see that? So these prophecies, they're all coming to pass more and more as we get closer towards the end. And the wicked, the Lord said in Daniel 12, the wicked shall not understand, but the wise shall understand. Now, what did the Lord say about the wise and the wisdom, those that are unified and married to wisdom and joined to wisdom, wisdom joined to us, that we would hide ourselves, you see? Verse 25, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation in the end of your world. And the men that are received shall see it. You see, our eye is full of light and single, so we can see, we realize what's happening while others don't. It says, who have not tasted death from their birth. Right, and the Lord said in Proverbs, oh, come and see and taste that the Lord is good. So you have a lot of guys, they're not given that taste. They're not given that meat of Yahawashi. They're not given that bread of everlasting life. They're given that bread of death and condemnation and hate and malice, you know? Which, yes, there's a time and place for that. But they're trying, like what's happening right now is there's an influx with new covenant, because that's the only thing that's at force right now. Righteousness is at force, new covenant, the marriage, the elect, the power, the chosen, the virgins. So there's an influx of false anointings trying to come in and distort it, defile it, pollute it, and make it seem like it's something that it's not. It's not like the fucking camps, you see? It's not of the world. You see? It says, and the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. So we're the ones that are declaring it, and we're the ones that are actually raising us up above the waters, above this, the wicked as a dirty waters and as a miry clay. You see, debt, you know, they're not forgiven. They're not forgiving others, you see. Isaiah 57:21, the wicked are like the troubled sea that cannot rest. See, there's no peace for the wicked. They don't have shalom. So they're full of the reproach of the Lord, and they're full of, like I use that lesson from one of the brothers' lessons, how our people, they're in a very like effeminate spirit, the men, you know, always arguing, and it's crazy, you see. it's a difference between like always arguing and like always having to like pick a fight, and it's a difference between actually defending the gospel and standing by the gospel and not wasting time and not playing games. You see, it says 2 Ezra 5:18, up then and eat bread, right? Not the bread of the world that is rotten and moldy and through, the bread of life. See, and forsake us not, as the shepherd that leaveth his flock in the hands of cruel wolves. You see that? Because what does a wolf do? The wolves, they're all about dividing the sheep up, getting them away from the shepherd, away from the safety, so that they can destroy them, you know? So Lord talked about the shepherd that leaves a flock, his eye shall be darkened, heavy. Instead of their eye being single, full of light, their eye shall be full of darkness. So this is what, so the Lord said to the watchman, get you up to the tower and sound the alarm, sound the trumpet, and show our people their sins. Show everything and everyone of what's going on right now and what's being done. And this is exactly what's being done. You know, like, you remember the story of Gideon, where they went, it was 300 of them, right? The story of Gideon, right? And the 300. As they blew their trumpets, the enemies that they were up against that were as much as grasshoppers in a field. There was so many of them, man. But what happened was the Lord put the spirit on them to actually fight against each other in their own camp. You see what I'm saying? So Satan's kingdom is divided, you see? And just like the story of Gideon, the same thing's happening with our enemies, even of our own nation. They're destroying each other. Just as a serpent will, you know, the serpent biting his own tail, it just eats itself, you know what I'm saying? So when you go to, it's just self-destruct. Let me get that scripture real quick. Gideon and the 300. Check this out. This is heavy. So this is Judges 7 and verse heavy. I'm just gonna read this part. It says, as they blew their trumpets, they shouted, right? And we're Isaiah 57:1, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and show Israel their sins, where they're wrong, when they're not right. You know? It says, and it's heavy, even, like I said, even guys in the new covenant. Like in it, but see, it's nothing that's happening right now is going to deceive the very elect, because us as the elect, we're suffering all things for the elect, and we're not being fellow workers of darkness, we're exposing the works of darkness, rather reprove them, have no fellowship. You see? It says, a sword for the Lord and a sword for Gideon. Gideon's men stayed where they were, but inside the camp, the men of Midian began shouting and running away. When Gideon's 300 men blew their trumpets, Yahweh caused the men of Midian to kill each other with their swords. So jumping back, this is 2 Ezra 5, and I'm going to start verse 9, because where you would think should be some like good water where you can drink from, and this is a reason why the Lord said drink waters out of thy own cistern, because you have a lot of guys, like, what's coming out of their mouth is an uncertain sound, and it's not really rivers of living water. There's something wrong. You see, it's deadly. It looks like it's good, but it's not. And if you take part of that, you drink that, it's going to be detrimental. And that's why I went into those lessons a while back, going into your diet, you know, being very cautious and aware of what you eat, not just physically, but even more so mentally and spiritually, you see? Because whatever, like, unclean spirit or evil spirit that's on a false prophet can come onto you. And this is why I told brothers and I told guys when, certain things were happening, I could see it and other brothers could see it. I would say, hey, man, like all these elders and false prophets in camps, just fucking cut them off. Not just, just talk about them all day and, oh, they're false prophets and they're false prophets, but cut them off in a sense of Don't listen to their YouTube channels. Don't listen to what they have to say. Don't follow them, meaning don't follow them. But see, our people have such a pride and arrogancy where they think, oh, it is not going to affect me. Oh, I know they're not right. But by you talking about them and still bringing about their whatever they're saying or doing, that's a form of you following them. You see, even if bad publicity is still publicity, you see, and that's what these demons feed off of. And that's why I brought that understanding of the tree of good and evil. If you eat of that, right, if you partake of that table, if you're around that and you're consuming things that they say, you see, you're going to surely die. So it's all about the tree of life. So this is 2 Ezra 5:11. And salt water shall be found in the sweet. You see that? Salt water is, you cannot drink that. Even if you boil it to try to kill the bacteria, it's salt water. You cannot drink it. It'll be detrimental. It will hurt you. So that's what's happening right now. And salt water shall be found in the sweet, right? Where should be good water is not good water. See, this is what's happening. This is the famine of the word. And all friends shall destroy one another. My people, Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, the Lord is going to reject you and your children. And those of you that are raising other men or have men in your camp under you as your children, as your sons, or as your understudies. That's why Yahawashi said in Matthew, you make them twofold child of hell than yourselves. You know? And all friends shall destroy. I'm going to read that part again. All friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself. See, wisdom hiding itself. And understanding withdraw itself into a secret chamber. And shall be sought of many. Right? Who is it being sought of? Let me go to it. They're trying to seek out our liberty that we have in Yahawashi, that they might bring us back into bondage where they are. They're in bondage. They're in bondage to their sins. They're unrepentive. They say that they repented. They say the new covenant, but they really haven't. They're all talk, but they're no walk. So in this time, man, don't believe someone because of what they say. Believe someone because of what they're doing, lining up to what they're saying, a just balance. Although there's many unjust balance in this abomination, man, and guys want to be highly seen amongst men. And everyone wants to be this guy and that prophet and this one and that one. But when it comes to actually doing what they did and what they were prophesying, what they're meant to do in these last days, guys don't want to do that. They're just doing it. Everybody else is doing it. That's the broad gate. Just talking shit, debate, gossiping, backbiting. You know? It's crazy, man. And it's because it's either you're elevating above that or you're staying at that low level. You know? Matthew 24:11. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. So the Lord told the parable about the angels. Let both the tares and the tares and the wheat grow together. And in the end, send the reapers to make that division, that clear division between the tares and the wheat. So this is what's been happening. This is the resurrection of the just and the unjust. You see? And I'm going to come back to that, but check this out. It says, many and shall be sought of many, right? They're seeking for it, just like the time of Lot. They were looking for that door. They were looking for that door of Lot's house where the angels were, where the safety was, where the protection and the salvation and deliverance was. But they couldn't find the door because they were smitten with blindness. So the same thing's happening with the 2/3 and just people that ain't of the Lord. They're being smitten with blindness where they can't find the door. They can't get into the spirit. They can't get into the hidden place, the secret chambers, which is in the new covenant, in the new heart of flesh, Yahawashi's mind, his heart, which is in heaven. We're in heaven. It says, shall be sought of many and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon earth. Prophecies being fulfilled. One land also shall ask another. Right, and this is heavy because the Lord said, 2 parts of the land shall be cut off and die. Of what? Of a land, of the elect, of Israel. You know, Israel is a people before it's a place. So one land also shall ask another. That land is going into the elect, the chosen ones. 1 of 1,000. That's who the Lord has found as righteous of men. It says, one land also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, no. And what does it mean when it says, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous? What is that righteousness? It's not of ourselves or what we're saying or doing or anything like that. Our righteousness is of Yahawashi, of the word, which we're defending, we're living for, we're breathing for, we're actually all about, which many in these last days are distorting, defiling, because they're defiled. And it's not, like Yahawashi said, it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, but what comes out of him. So what's coming out of guys' mouth, that's in their heart, is defiling them. And in the last days, everyone's being exposed. And the brother, I was chopping up with the brother the other day, and he was just talking about how, like, some dude he came across was just spilling all the beans of all his sins on some, like, confession shit, bro. So the thing is about us as the elect, our power is that wherever we come around or wherever we notice, like, the demons and these spirits can't help but to reveal who they really are. They just say the truth, even if it's not good, you know? So the brother was telling me about how some dude came around him. He's like, yeah, you know, I got this, you know, necklace and I got all this bling bling from Robin and shit. You see? Now, is that wisdom? No, it's not wisdom. It's foolishness. The Lord said the sinners, they make a sport. Sinners are make a sport at sin. You know what I'm saying? They you know, they're just, there's no fear of God before their eyes. They don't fear the Lord, you know? So they think they can just do whatever they want to do. Lawlessness, covetousness, all these things. You see? It says that at the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. It's because everyone's laboring for gain, bro. Like, no one's doing this labor of love just out of love. That's what is the true riches. That's what the secret is. So, like, when you watch, like, certain movies, and, like, I'm gonna say this too, man, I was meditating on it too. It's like, you know, from even when we were young, right? Like, they would say, like, oh, you know, girls have cooties, and they make you, like, run away from girls, and, like, you know, it's just weird, you know what I'm saying? But, like, it's heavy because it's indoctrination, even from a young age. Like, where'd that come from? And then even as you get older, like, in, like, your adolescence and then teenage years, you'll be like, oh, you know, oh, you're watching a woman's, like, romantic movie, you're soft, you're this, you're that, you know? But, like, for an example, right, like Titanic, right? Like, the treasure and the superpower was love, and really the winner in the end was those that fulfilled love and you know, kept it 100 and was all about love, man. So the reason why, you know, a lot of guys will, like, knock romantic, because, like, they don't have love, you know? So that's why, you know, you have this whole weirdo sodomite false doctrine about how there's no woman in the truth. There's no woman in the new covenant. Because, man, this is what it is in these last days, man. You see what I'm saying? It's heavy, bro. So it says, and this is what they don't want to be revealed in these last days. They're trying to hide it. They're trying to, but you're not going to deceive the elect. And us as the elect, we're to sound the trumpet. We're to show each other what we're seeing. And it's so heavy, so real, and so exposing, you know? And it shows you who's really of the Lord and who's really not. You know what I'm saying? It says, so this is Amos 8:11. It says, behold, the days come, saith Yahawashi, that I will send a famine in the land. Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. See, so, you know, everyone's rapping, everyone's talking shit, everyone's backbiting, gossiping. No, he said this. But when it comes to actually hearing the words of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, many aren't doing this. Only the few of us really are. So, like, when I see a brother, like a sincere brother, put up a video and he's going into the scriptures, man, that's gold, man. I'm like, thank the Lord. Finally, it's a checkpoint. It's a safe haven, you know? Because, like, man, look what's going on, man. Look around, bro. Like, even I'm doing this lesson right now, and I'm just, I got my phone and it's light, and then all around me just darkness, man. You know, and it's just things happen for why they happen. You know, there's a little light flashing there, there's a little light there. You know what I'm saying? But, like, this is what it is really in the spirit too. You know, but I got that heat on me, which is the fire, the word. Keep me warm and keeping each other warm. The ones that actually have this light in a dark place, this warmth, this comfort in the dark place in this evil time. It says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. Because they're looking in all the wrong places, and the ones that everyone thinks is not significant or not men of the Lord, or no one listens to them, whatever. We're really the men of the Lord, while other guys that exalt themselves and they exalt their gate and they whatever, and they just, the Lord said the Lord said, matter of fact, let me get this. The Lord said, he that is the losing thereof, in Ecclesiastes thereof. Check this out. Pride is the losing thereof. Right. Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 20 says, among brethren, he that is chief is honorable. So are they that fear the Lord in his eyes. The fear of Yahweh goeth before the obtaining of authority, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof. See that? Is a losing thereof. So guys are losing the authority of the Lord. Their righteousness is not exceeding the righteousness of the Pharisees and scribes. It's decreasing. And I was watching this little clip, right? And we was talking about the apostles, like explaining like who they were in their lives and stuff. And like even with the head of the church, Peter, man, he was poor. He didn't have silver and gold. On top of that too, they said that Peter and John and the apostles, that they were unlearned men. Having never learned, they didn't go to school, they didn't go to uni and college and all this bullshit of the world, bro. So by us really not being of the world and just being all about the word, because that's what the Lord, that's why what's happened in our lives has brought us to this point, is because the Lord, his hand is upon us, his chastisement, his guidance, things not working out for us because the Lord has something better for us, something exceedingly powerful for us, which is not of this world. So we're really being taken out of this world already. These false Christians, they'll talk about the rapture. Rapture's going to come. We are already being raptured right now in the spirit. For those that have ears to hear and eyes to see. It says, whether he be rich, noble, or poor, their glory is the fear of the Lord. It is not meet to despise a poor man that hath understanding, neither is it convenient to magnify a sinful man. You see that? And that's exactly what you have guys doing. These guys, man, we've been rebuking, we've been telling you, but they magnify sinful men. I just told you that earlier. They'll talk about these elders, they'll talk about these false prophets all the time. What you're doing is you're magnifying sinful men. What do you do with a magnifying glass? You put it on something to look closer at it. Why are you looking closer at it, man? Don't look at all. Keep your eyes single. Look away. If something's bad or sick or demonic, don't look. Look away, man. You see what I'm saying? Don't give your attention to that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna defile your temple. It's gonna, mess you up. It's gonna, what I'm saying? All these different things, man. It says Amos 8 and 13. In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. See? The foolish virgins. They that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, right, where the sin of Samaria is going against the house of David, fighting against the house of David, setting up, again, just like Exodus, false idols and shit, and bowing down and worshiping them, trying to usurp the house of David, They that swear that's by the sin of Samaria and say, thy power, O Dan, liveth, and the manner of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall and never rise up again. You see, so this is what's happening. All the idols are falling. That's what the land is full of. This full of idolatry, worshiping, bowing down to things that are not even of the Lord. That's why we read earlier in Ezra's, right? One land also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh the man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, no. You see? It's heavy, man. Mark 7 And 6, he answered and said unto them, well hath Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites. Right, everyone's just acting. Everyone's just using YouTube and doing videos and lessons, just putting on an act in the front. When it comes to actually doing and walking and doing what the apostles did, doing what Yahawashi did, being that example, being that living, breathing pillar of righteousness, it's not happening. It says, as it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. You see? And that's why the love of many is waxing cold. And the Lord said, separate yourself and save yourself from this untoward generation. Separate and be a holy. You know? And I remember a while back, you know, a brother will remember, but, you know, you had this false brother, because if they were of us, they would have continued with us. But they didn't continue with us, they discontinued, because that they're not of us. They're of the world. So this false brother, he was like, oh, you guys think you're the only righteous guys in this truth? And like, that's really what it is. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the end. The Lord only saved 8 souls. You know, so, you know, the main thing in this truth is just being meek, being humble, being lowly, being grateful, and offending less. And being holy, man, you know, and really listening and showing and being that example of Yahawashi. But what guys tend to do, and I'm gonna close it out here, bro, but what guys are doing is that they're putting their words, what they say, they're putting their mind and their thoughts over what Yahawashi has already laid down, man, the example, his blood, his life, you see. So I'm gonna leave it at that. All praises, glory, honor, and faith, Yahawashi. And if any of you beloved brothers out there, you know, were inspired by this, or you know, you notice what's transpiring right now, then, you know, definitely bring it out. You know, bring more to the table. You know, there's enough for everybody in the true, real new covenant, in the real marriage supper of the Lamb. You know, there's not no jealousy and covetousness and envy and hatred and malice. There's enough for everybody. Our cup is running over. You see? So it's definitely a very revealing time. The Lord, He's revealing His Son through the very few of us, and the many out there, the phonies and the copycats. You know, they can only go for so long, and their time is almost up. You know, falsely prophesying is just crazy in these last days, bro. It is wild. You see? All praises, glory, honor, faith, Yahawashi, Baba Ball, judgment to all the false ones, the many, which are many, and blessings, empowerment, and endurance, and increase. The Lord's true elect out there, all you beloved out there, you men and women that really love the Lord with all your heart. Hey, Shalom. Repent.
I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord. I knew a man in Christ about 14 years ago. Whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell, God knows. Such an one caught up to the third heaven. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body I cannot tell, God knows. How that he was caught up into paradise, and heard unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter. Which it is not lawful for a man to utter. Which it is not lawful for a man to utter.